what appears to have been Noah's home at some point after he left the ark. This house had an extremely thick wall, and the windows were such that on the outside there was kind of a small opening that, say, a wild animal could not have gotten through. But on the inside there was a very large opening, and the window casing was at quite an angle. That way the little bit of light that entered the hole would be spread throughout the room. Do you get the picture on that? Mm-hmm. So that's something that I had never seen before until I saw this. And that made me wonder if perhaps that design was built into the ark in some manner in lighting the ark up, if they didn't use some technique like that. A small hole so not much water could get in, but then have it angled on the inside so that the light was spread over a large area. Now then, right off in this area were 2 grave markers, and we have those on film at home. I took them in 1977. Now, we made a little booklet and made sketches of all these things. And one of the people, a real good Christian, and if you didn't believe it, just ask him. Have you met those kind of folks? When I meet them anymore, they don't get anything. But at that time I was rather naive, so I gave him one of these books. Well, I was going to bring the group out here in 1984 and show them this. We got down to another village where there was some old millstones, and I showed them that first. While I was showing them that, I saw this guy off with my sketch of the grave markers, showing them to one of the villagers to see if he knew where they were located. At that point in time, I decided that we didn't have time to get out here to see this place. But he persisted, and finally he found somebody that knew where this was, paid them $400 to dig up Mrs. Noah's grave. And again, I have the description of the people that interrogated the guy that dug it up, and some of the folks that saw it as it migrated westward and was eventually sold for over $100 million on the black market in Istanbul. Now that's a pretty impressive sum of money for jewelry. I was told that she had a head dressing of some sort that was made of gold, necklaces, bracelets, but the main thing that she had was some sort of a large bodice that was solid gold and encrusted with many gemstones. And as it turns out, like I said up on the mountain, the only way you're going to get to see that is if you get to heaven, and I assume we'll get a replay of all of this. But they dug this grave up, and if you want to walk over and look, you'll see it's quite a long grave. There was a sarcophagus appeared in Ankara about that time that was 18 feet in length. And now, when they apparently got word back that this thing had sold for that much money, they came out here and systematically destroyed this building. When I first saw it in 1977, it was pretty much intact except for the roof. And ancient buildings usually have lost their roofs if somebody hadn't lived in them recently. Now then, if you want to go with us up to this large stone right in the saddle of the valley there, that appears to have been an altar. And from that point you can see the system of fences here that appears to have been a system of corrals and pens. And we were told that Noah became a husbandman, and of course there's cattle husbandry and it's specifically mentioned that he planted some grapes or a vineyard. And even yet, people tend to do a lot of outdoor stuff, and they basically just sleep in the house, right? They cook outside and all of that, by and large. So it compared with what is
considered lodge today.
Right. Back in those days, this would have been a very large sleeping quarters.
Yes.
Today, of course, it wouldn't be that big.
No.
Looking down at the modern village of Arzap, the Turkish name is Saglak Suyu, and in Ron's material, he had mistakenly called it Kazan. But anyways, we're in this area where they found the anchor stones, the drogue stones that were used on Noah's Ark to stabilize the boat in the storm. These big giant stones with holes. They found 20 plus, I think 24, 25. We in fact found a new one last year in this area. And then they found, Ron had found 2 near the boat, and we're still looking for those again. But anyways, we're in this region where Noah most likely settled after the flood and civilization restarted. It's a beautiful spring day, and we'd love to have you guys out here and check out the sites with us and get photographs and just experience the area where Noah restarted civilization after the flood. So here we are above this altar stone. I was just standing on that, and so you can see it's quite a giant boulder. Especially if you get somebody nearby, you can get a perspective view of the height compared to a man. But anyways, it's big, and so I'm just kind of walking around it without stumbling and falling here. But if you look out, you can see we're kind of higher up than the village, and so this is the area we believe Noah settled after the flood, and where his family grave plot is. Okay, so I have my friend Mike up there, Pastor Mike, and so he's on the altar. Now you can see how big it is, and so he's doing a little video vlog up there, and I'm just right above him. You can see we're overlooking the valley.